Something big is about to happen in Pittsburgh. The countdown is almost over, and the Steelers are just hours away from one of their biggest challenges of the season. Week 9, Steelers versus Colts, and the pressure couldn't be higher. After back-to-back losses, the entire city is holding its breath, wondering if this is the game where the Steelers finally turn things around. Before we jump into all the latest updates and what's at stake in this crucial matchup, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest Steelers news and breakdowns. Alright, let's dive into the new updates. Tomorrow, the Steelers face the Indianapolis Colts at home, a matchup that could completely shift the tone of their season. This isn't just another regular season game. This is about pride, momentum, and redemption. If the Steelers can pull off a win against one of the AFC's top teams, it would light a spark of hope through the entire fan base and, more importantly, inside that locker room. After 2 straight tough losses, everyone, from Coach Mike Tomlin to veterans like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, knows the defense has to wake up and fight back. The Steelers' defense, once feared across the league, has struggled lately. But this week offers a chance to prove they can still dominate when it matters most. The Colts come in with one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, and stopping them would send a powerful message to every team still left on the Steelers' schedule. Because after this week, the road doesn't get easier. The Chargers, the Bills, and the Ravens are waiting. But a victory here could bring back that spark, that confidence, that classic Pittsburgh toughness the fans have been craving. So as kickoff approaches, one question remains. Will the Steelers rise up and fight back, or let this season slip further away? Stay with me. We've got all the details you need right here. This week feels different for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the kind of week that could quietly shape the rest of their season. But heading into this huge matchup, some tough news hit the locker room. Both safety Chuck Clark and linebacker Cole Holcomb are officially out, dealing with an illness that's been spreading through the team. It's being called a flu bug, and while it doesn't sound major, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. The last thing the Steelers need right now is more players missing time, especially with how critical this game is. The good news? Malik Harrison is finally back. After being sidelined since Week 1 with a knee injury, he's off injured reserve and ready to return to action. He's expected to step right into Holcomb's spot as the third linebacker, behind Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson. And speaking of Wilson, expect to see a lot of him in this matchup. His ability to cover space and disrupt plays in the passing game is going to be key, especially against a Colts offense that loves to attack over the middle with quick throws and tight-end mismatches. When the Steelers need to tighten up against the run, that's where Harrison comes in. The physical, hard-hitting presence who brings that old-school toughness back to the middle of the field. It's almost perfect timing that he's returning, just as Holcomb went down. But the secondary? That's where things get tricky. With Chuck Clark, Jabril Peppers, and Deshaun Elliott all unavailable, the Steelers are suddenly thin at safety. That leaves Kyle Duggar to shoulder a lot of responsibility, and there's even talk of moving Jalen Ramsey down to play strong safety at times. It makes sense. Against an offense like the Colts, especially when you're dealing with dangerous tight ends and quick slot receivers, you need someone physical, smart, and experienced in man coverage. Ramsey fits that mold perfectly. So, as kickoff approaches, all eyes are on how this defense adjusts, who steps up, who fills the gaps, and whether this banged-up Steelers unit can still hold the line when it matters most. Stay with me. There's a lot more to uncover about this matchup. The Steelers have a real challenge on their hands this week, and it starts with finding a way to contain Tyler Warren. The Colts' tight end has been a problem for defenses all season, and the Steelers can't afford to repeat the kind of breakdowns we saw in previous weeks. Now, Kyle Duggar is a strong, physical safety, no doubt about that. He tackles well, he hits hard, and he's great against the run. But when it comes to coverage, that's not really his strength. If the plan is to line him up one-on-one against a weapon like Tyler Warren, it could spell trouble fast. That's why many are expecting Jalen Ramsey to take on a bigger role at safety this week, a move that could give the defense more flexibility and help avoid those one-on-one mismatches in the middle of the field. And the clues are already there. When Chuck Clark was ruled out, many assumed the team would elevate Derek Forrest from the practice squad for depth at safety. But that didn't happen. Instead, the Steelers brought up Lou Nichols and Trey Sermon, both running backs who mainly contribute on special teams. That tells us something important. The team might be preparing to rely heavily on Ramsey in the secondary. With only Juan Thornhill and Kyle Duggar listed as true safeties, the Steelers are clearly trusting Ramsey's versatility to fill in where needed. The big question now is, how much can Duggar handle? He's been with the team for less than a week and has practiced only twice. That's not much time to learn a new system or build chemistry in a complex defense. So tomorrow, don't be surprised to see Jalen Ramsey sliding into that safety role more than usual. His instincts, experience, and leadership could be the key to holding this defense together, especially if anything unexpected happens during the game. The plan is risky, but it might be the only way to keep the Steelers' secondary from being stretched too thin. And in a game this important, every decision matters. Stay with me. Things are only getting more intense from here. The Steelers' secondary is going to be fascinating to watch this week, because this lineup might look a little different than usual. Most likely, Joey Porter Jr. locks down one side of the field as always. The question is, who lines up opposite him? Right now, it seems like Darius Slay will get the start, but his leash is getting shorter by the week. If he struggles early, don't be surprised if the coaches turn quickly to James Pierre. The Steelers are running out of patience, and they can't afford costly coverage mistakes against a fast-paced Colts offense. In the slot, expect Brandon Echols to get plenty of work, especially if Jalen Ramsey spends more time at safety. From there, the team can rotate between Juan Thornhill and Kyle Duggar depending on down and distance. It's not a simple setup, but it might be the most flexible one they have right now. There's also a chance we'll see the Steelers mix in some base formations, with two corners on the outside and a heavier front to help slow down Jonathan Taylor and the Colts' rushing attack. That kind of approach could have Joey Porter Jr. sliding into a hybrid role, part corner, part strong safety, while the front seven focuses on keeping Taylor in check. But the real story this week isn't just who plays where, it's how they play. After two straight disappointing defensive performances, the message inside the locker room has been clear: simplify and attack. Even TJ Watt spoke about it this week, and when your defensive captain talks, everyone listens. He said, "I think there are ways of simplifying things so we can play as fast as possible. And I think we've had a good week of that." That one line says everything. The defense knows they've been overthinking, second-guessing, and reacting too slow. Now it's about going back to what they do best, playing fast, physical, and fearless. The Steelers don't need complicated schemes. They need confidence, trust, and energy. And if this defense truly buys into that mindset, this could be the week we finally see the fire come back to Pittsburgh. Stay with me, because what TJ Watt said next takes this story to another level. This week, TJ Watt didn't hold back, and what he said perfectly captures where this team stands right now. We're trying to fix what's wrong. There's a lot that needs work, and we're chipping away at it. We had a good week of practice, kept things simple, played fast, played physical, trusted each other. But at the end of the day, talk doesn't mean anything unless we show it on the field. That's classic TJ Watt, honest, direct, and focused on results. He's not talking about excuses or effort. He's talking about execution. And this idea of simplifying the defense might be exactly what the Steelers need. For weeks, the defense has looked like it's been thinking too much, too many checks, too many adjustments, too many missed cues. When that happens, players stop reacting naturally. They hesitate. And in the NFL, a split second of hesitation is the difference between a sack and a touchdown. By simplifying the plan, the Steelers are aiming to bring back what's been missing: speed, confidence, and raw physicality. When you strip away the confusion, the players can just line up, trust their instincts, and attack. That's when you see TJ Watt flying off the edge, when the linebackers start crashing downhill, and when the secondary plays with aggression instead of fear. There's another advantage too. It helps new faces like Kyle Duggar, who's barely had time to learn the playbook. A simpler game plan means fewer moving parts, less overthinking, and a smoother adjustment for anyone stepping in midweek. It's the kind of approach that builds trust, one assignment at a time, one play at a time. Because right now, the Steelers don't need fancy coverages or exotic blitz packages. They need unity. They need focus. They need that signature Pittsburgh edge, hard-nosed, fast, and fearless. And if this simplified plan really clicks on Sunday, we might finally see that defense play like the one fans have been waiting for all season. Stay with me, because what happens next could define the Steelers' season. There's no question, a simplified game plan can help players react faster and play looser. But here's the truth. It also comes with a real risk. When you strip things down too much, you can become predictable, and against an offense as sharp as the Colts, that's dangerous. If the defense lines up the same way, runs the same coverages, and shows the same looks, it won't take long for an opposing quarterback to figure it out. Once they start recognizing what's coming before the snap, it's game over. That's the double-edged sword of simplicity. It helps your players play free, but it also gives the offense a clearer picture. And when you're not mixing in pre-snap disguises or post-snap rotations, the best offenses will find the soft spots and attack them all day long. That's the tightrope this Steelers defense has to walk. Yes, keeping it simple makes sense right now, especially with Kyle Duggar being brand new to the system. Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin know they can't throw too much at him in Week 1. The plan has to be clean, straightforward, and built for confidence. But the challenge is balance, staying simple without becoming obvious. Because if the Colts start reading this defense like an open book, the Steelers could be in for a long afternoon. Still, there's one thing that can erase all of that: talent and toughness. If this defensive front wins up front, if TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith get home, if Minkah Fitzpatrick and the corners play aggressive, everything changes. You don't need complicated schemes when your stars dominate. That's what Pittsburgh is counting on. A defense that doesn't overthink, it just attacks. A unit that hits hard, plays fast, and trusts its instincts. Because right now, the Steelers are standing at a crossroads. 2 straight losses have tested this team's heart. One more, and that familiar dark cloud, that mid-season skid, might roll in again. But this group has a chance to change the story. If they come out tomorrow with energy, unity, and that signature Steelers grit, they can turn frustration into fire. This isn't just another game. It's a test of pride, and a chance to remind everyone what Pittsburgh football is supposed to look like.